So during COVID, we all picked up some fairly strange hobbies. Maybe not all of us, but I really got into reading. So I thought I would just make a really quick video about some of the books, the guitar related books that I've really got into over the past couple of years and that I think you should check out. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig. I am a guitarist and a composer based in Bristol here in the UK. I play in a whole bunch of bands and I write music for film and TV. Let's get into it. So as I said, I'm a bit of a book nerd. You get home from the gig, you get home from rehearsal, you get home from watching your favorite band, and you're super wired. It's hard to get to sleep. So for me, reading before I go to bed has just been an absolute game changer for me. Now, there are other ways to help you fall asleep, many of which I'm not medically cleared to recommend, but I would also suggest watching some of my other videos. They may help. Anyway, books that I'm really into. I'm going to keep this short because I appreciate it may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I think you'll maybe find a couple of things that you might want to check out. So first of all, my absolute guitar hero. Kind of says it already, doesn't it? Slash, this is just a ridiculous book, honestly. You kind of think you know all about Guns N' Roses and some of the things that Slash has kind of gone through over the years. Until you read this book, you really have no idea. The guy is an absolute legend, but he has gone through some dark days, let me tell you. I'm not going to really go into the content of these books. I think you should check them out yourselves, but just to kind of give you an idea, I had no idea that he has had such a storied career, certainly in terms of like who he's met, who he's played with. It was really great reading about things like the earlier tours with the likes of Aerosmith and Metallica. But even way before that, when Guns were starting out, even when Slash was starting out as a guitarist, and really kind of how he got his, sort of like, I won't even say how he got his like break, how he made those opportunities and how he took them when those opportunities presented themselves. So yeah, first up, Slash, everybody should read this book. It is nuts, but it's amazing. Next up, Eruption, Eddie Van Halen. This is a really interesting book because it's written in quite a unique way. It's written as a series of conversations. So Brad Talinsky and Chris Gill that have written this book, they have a bunch of interviews with Eddie, but also lots of people that are close to Eddie. And they really kind of go into what kind of person he was, not just really, who he was as a guitarist. I think we all know who he was as a guitarist. He was, revolutionary and unique in his own respect. And I don't think anybody will really ever come close to changing the game as much as he did. I was a bit late to the party with Eddie Van Halen. I'm really sad to say, but I think this is a really nice book. It really portrays his life in quite a nice way. Not the whole thing, but there are kind of lots of other books on Eddie and the band that are worth checking out. So yeah, if you have an interest in Eddie Van Halen, I really recommend checking this book out. It's a great one. Now, two that I don't have with me because I read them on my Kindle. The first one is the Eric Clapton autobiography. Again, I knew Eric's music. Obviously, as a guitarist based here in the UK, we're all kind of familiar with what Eric's done. Aware of his kind of solo career, aware of what he's done with Cream, a lot of the collaborations that he's had over the years. But this book just really opened my eyes again to what the, I guess kind of like what the scene was like as he was kind of growing up and as he was getting his break with like John Mayall and, how he got started with Cream and the Yardbirds, and just also how kind of like closely knit the guitar community was then. It's mind-blowing sort of like how many huge names just appear in passing throughout this book. But it's also really touching to hear about his struggles with things like drug abuse and what he has since done to help others that have kind of shared those struggles. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's a book that I really recommend checking out. Just a slight kind of interlude. This is a book that isn't actually written about a guitarist. So this is the book. This is Mark Rivera's book, and this appealed to me because it's called Sideman, and I don't know, it's interesting. Like, I think people kind of grow up wanting to be the front man, they want to be the star. But I think for me in particular, like the whole sort of like notion of the sideman is one that really appeals to me. I'm not somebody that likes to be in the spotlight, which I guess could be kind of surprising based on the fact I'm here talking to you on a YouTube channel. But really, it's about supporting the music, it's about supporting the band, it's about making the song the best it can be. And Mark has a really great story. It's amazing just to hear about, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, but all of the incredible artists that he's played with. His main gig being part of Billy Joel's band, and just some really great stories and some really great experiences that are shared in this book. So yeah, check that out. Sideman, Mark Rivera, brilliant book. Another one that I would really recommend checking out, which I read just after the Slash autobiography, was Rocks by Joe Perry. I've always been a fan of Aerosmith. My best friend when I was at primary school, he was like the biggest Aerosmith fan. He had like every album, and I just didn't really get it. And then I started playing guitar, and it was like, okay, yeah, I get it now. What a band. But in particular, Joe Perry is just a phenomenal guitarist. Well, Joe and Brad, they're both amazing, but his book really goes into just like how much of a struggle it was being in that band at times. We've kind of all like dealt with like difficult musicians and things, but the things that Joe went through in Aerosmith is just it's just amazing, and a really great story. The fact that he's still playing, he's still doing it is just like beyond me. There's a really great interview with Rick Beato that's just come out. So if you are a Joe Perry fan, check that out. But yeah, read the book. It is unbelievable, and kind of mind blowing when you realize like how long ago some of those albums came out, and when Aerosmith really started, just how long they did it for. It's just brilliant. Cool. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up, but one more book. This is Mike Campbell's book. This came out, I believe it came out this year. I'm actually still reading it. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm enjoying it so much. This is really what inspired me to make this video, because Mike is a great storyteller. I've seen some of his videos with the likes of like on Gibson TV, where he talks about his collection. I've seen some of his older interviews. And it doesn't really feel like it was that long ago that Tom Petty passed away. So it's, I don't know, I guess it's kind of pertinent that this book's sort of come out now, and he's really been able to sort of like tell his story in the way that he has. He doesn't hold any punches, which is great. He's really honest in it. I think at times, he does paint himself in, a slightly nicer light than some of the other members of the band. That's just my personal opinion. But he really goes through some stuff, particularly with the likes of record labels, really terrible gigs, but just doing it because you have to. That's what you do. That's how you get there. And he's a guy that did it. He's a guy that's still doing it. He's doing it now with his band Dirty Knobs. Just a phenomenal guitarist, but a brilliant storyteller. And he's written an amazing book. So unless something changes in kind of like the last quarter of it, which is all I've got left to read, I would highly recommend checking this book out. It's just amazing. But yeah, I mean, that's it. So I'm sure there are many other guitarist books that are worth checking out. Any other musicians? If there's any that you recommend, please let me know in the comments, because like I said, I've already finished this one, so I'm going to need another one to read. But also just for everyone else's awareness, it's good to share this stuff. A lot of these books I didn't really know were even kind of like available. The Sideman book, the Mark Rivera book, I found, I got it in the airport in Nashville on the way home when I was flying back, and I'd never even heard of him. It's probably not a book I would have sought out. It just happened to be there, and the title really kind of captivated me. So yeah, let me know if there are any other books that you'd recommend checking out. Let me know if you've read these. Let me know your thoughts on them. If you like them, if you didn't like them, please share. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. I go on about it all the time, but it does really help out the channel. If you'd like to hear kind of more from me, if you'd like to see more videos, please do subscribe. Had a whole bunch of new subscribers lately, which is great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and it's good to know that what I'm doing is kind of I guess like entertaining to some extent, or helping people. We've had some really great feedback on some of like the more instructional things. I'm not really into just like reviewing things. I'm not getting paid to do any of this. I just like to share this kind of stuff because I find it interesting, and maybe you do too. So yeah, thanks for sticking around till the end. Go play your guitar. Cheers.